so you love showing houses, you love the people part. What's made you like amazing at, and you're an influencer, obviously. So what's your special sauce? What have you done that's, changed?
Well, my role has definitely, like, my role in real estate has definitely evolved. I started off, selling to friends and family. I built out a real estate website and started getting leads. This was back like before Zillow. So, so
When leads were kind of cool, right?
yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, these are real people that want to buy houses. Like, how cool is that? So that's really how I started, and built up my sphere and my career, here in Denver. And then I, became a top producer. I built a team, and then I started losing that passion and started thinking like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
I have an MBA and a master's in marketing, and I really felt like I was not using either of those things and had giant student loans to show for them. So I asked my company at the time if I could help them make their stuff look pretty and help their agents grow their businesses.
Wait a minute. I want to make your stuff look pretty because
Yeah,
it's not looking.
it already was, but I just loved that part of it. I love marketing. I love branding. So that's really like where my real heart lies in this business, in
Nice.
addition to the agents and the people. So I became a marketing director. I did that for about 5 years at that company. And
Wow.
then about 2.5 years ago, I took the leap and started my own brokerage.
Okay. How's that been? What's that been like?
We've grown in the last 2.5 years to 4 offices across the Front Range. And
Wow.
I think we just hired our 112th agent. So,
112 agents in 4 years.
yeah, it's a
That's amazing.
it's the little boutique brand that could. And
So what did you learn? Like it's so cool because you're one of those success stories. Not very many brokers ever get to 100. Like that's kind of there's a big mark. That's a huge number. What have you learned now that you've built this? Like look back at old Stacy and look back at today's Stacy and like what's that gap? What have you learned?
I think just having a real focus on, like, you have to have a mission statement, right? And I think that's true even for individual agents who are out there selling houses. Like, what's their purpose? What's their why? And
Yes.
for me, like, that's a little two-sided, for me and my management team. So we have to focus on the agents that we want to attract and keep. And then we also have to focus on their clients and how are they going to use our stuff to attract those clients. We
Right.
know exactly who those people are. We've defined them since the beginning, and that's who has come to us. We've really done no recruiting, which I know is like, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, sure. But really, we haven't.
You've got to hire a VA to help you recruit.
We are hiring, like, we can barely keep up. So,
Yeah, that's
great,
awesome.
great agents keep coming to our door, and, they're either attracted to the branding or to the business model, whatever that is. And we just love everyone we work with. So that's kind of our, we don't do a disc test. We don't do 3 interviews before we hire you. Someone on our team interviews an agent, and if it clicks, it clicks. And if it doesn't, we suggest somewhere else for them to go work. So, we hire very carefully.
That's awesome. I really like it. What has been some of the biggest challenges in building your own brand and your own brokerage?
I think having an ever-changing business model. So, or business plan, I would say. So our business model is the same. I said that wrong. So in the beginning, if you'd asked me where we would be at after 2.5 years, I would have hoped to be at 25 agents and have an office open. Having 4 storefronts is a lot, especially because they're everywhere from, Boulder County to now Colorado Springs and in between. So, finding the right support staff and finding the people that care about it as much as Madeline and I do, who own the company, has been both a challenge and an opportunity for us to really figure out what we need, what we can delegate, what we actually have to keep doing every day to keep everybody happy, and like what we don't have to do. For me, reviewing files is not my jam. I have an awesome full-time compliance manager now. She keeps us all straight. So getting stuff like that off my plate so that I can focus on the stuff that I love is, has been key.
Right. What okay, so it sounds like building a team while having 4 offices and hiring right in terms of the support to your agents. That by far has been the biggest challenge for you guys.
For sure. Yep. And just like you guys do, right? With VAs and with the virtual assistants, um, we've done some of that too, which has helped us keep up.
Right.
And our whole company works remote. No one has a desk. I don't have a desk anywhere.
Anywhere.
We float. Like you're looking at my desk today. It's the corner of my bedroom, right? I just needed some quiet time. So we float around the offices. Our agents know where to find us. But it's part of being like a creative brained person, I think. We constantly, like, sometimes Maddie and I will be in the office and we'll be like, come on, get up, we're moving all the furniture. And like people will come in and the whole office will be rearranged, and they'll walk in and be like, whoa. But it's part of like keeping fresh energy coming in the door, and like sounds so touchy feely, but that's been really important to us too.
That's interesting. And are you guys recruiting people who are like you in terms of like the agents who are less salesy and more creative and more relational? Is that kind of been your jam?
It was at first, and now with 112-ish agents, we have such a diverse roster, which I love. So we have guys that focus on investors. We've got property managers. We have certainly those salespeople who love Instagram and who, post what they're doing all day long, and
Right.
that's their thing. So
Right.
I think the brand does attract a certain type of person, but now the landscape in Denver especially is moving so quickly in real estate. There's a lot of new stuff coming in. Agents are getting hit up all the time with technology and with, all of these different offerings. And I think everyone just has to find the right seat. And I think our agents, once they settle in with us, they realize, like, this is my happy place. I don't need to go anywhere.
That's cool. How are you, like, I want to pick your brain, Stacy, because you're building a brokerage in the most disruptive time in our industry. Like, literally, it's like we're the taxi drivers trying to book travel right now and there's no travel agents and we can't get a taxi. So talk to me about where you think the puck is moving. Like, what are you doing to prepare for disruption? Amazon's here, Zillow's here, Realtor.com just bought, a prospecting company for a lot of money. I mean, all this change is happening right here, right now. In fact, one of the hardest changes that I've seen happen is most of the power is transforming away from the agent, really away from the broker, and getting put into the consumer's hands. And so, talk to
Right?
me.
So first of all, what we've done to kind of stay at the forefront of this is brought on Greg Fisher. He's well known in our industry. He has worked at move.com. He worked at realtor.com. He has built apps. He's been a consultant for many different parts of our vertical. And he's just the guy that knows all of this stuff. And he's so open-minded. So things like iBuyer programs, like, we're not scared. We're just explaining these things to our agents, giving them tools and strategies to handle both the opportunities and challenges that will come with these things and these changes. But in the end, like, our agents are still out selling houses, and there's still plenty of them for them to sell. So I think I like to look at every change like this like an opportunity, and like, okay, how do we, take the Zestimate conversation and turn it? That's been like 5 years ago, right? Like,
Right.
how is that an opportunity for you rather than a problem? And
Right.
so I think the iBuyer things and all of these technology companies that are becoming real estate companies and all of that still offer those same opportunities to have a conversation, whether that's with an agent or with a consumer, and explain to them why, the value of a realtor is still there and why we're not going anywhere and we're still worth our commission. But yeah, I think having those conversations and being super transparent about it is the best thing that any broker can do.
So you're not nervous in any way?
I'm not. I think I've been in the business long enough to have seen, I started in the dark times, right? That's what I call the recession.
Yes.
Started out, my first listing was a short sale. It took me 2 years to close. It was $50,000. So I've seen every turn in the last 15 years. And I feel really empowered by that. Like I have shifted. I know how to teach agents to sell HUD homes or foreclosures or short sales.
Right.
And, certainly properties that have declined in value rather than had that beautiful 10% appreciation rate like we've had in Denver for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So we're ready. And I think our brand's built to pivot. So it's part of like the advantage of being an independent brokerage as well. And
You
not
can
being
move fast.
Yeah, like we're so nimble. I make such quick decisions and we implement like so crazy fast. People can't keep up. And that's that's just how we operate best.
Let me ask you another question. Being a woman and a leader in our industry, what's that been like? Because all the other CEOs of the major companies are men. And I'm just kind of curious what your perspective around that is.
It's
heavy sigh. I heard that.
also be challenging. And my answer to that has been getting more involved in the association, in our industry. I've been a national speaker for a long time and, been on Inman stages and been on NAR stages and really, I think, been a voice of reason for our industry. And I want to continue to do that in this leadership role. And especially like setting a good example for our agents and coming from a place of, gratitude and abundance rather than fear is part of that. And I think women are really good at that. So I think it's been part of the secret to our fast growth for sure, and to the recognition that we've received in the industry in such a short time. But still, when I walk into a boardroom at our local association, sometimes
you're the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't mind.
Yeah, even though like 70% of realtors are actually women, which is a crazy thing. Okay, cool. So you're not scared. You love being a CEO. You're impacting the world. What are some of the kind of cool things that we can expect from you and your brand and your agents coming up?
So I like to say we're a really community-based organization, and we're also a content-based marketing firm within a real estate company. So it's our job to curate the information and to turn that around and provide that to our agents and our consumers. So we work really hard on that. I always get asked what's next? What's our plan? I don't know. Like I said, our business plan has changed so many times. And the awesome thing is that we are able to just say yes and then figure it out. I never thought we would get into property management. I didn't think that we would expand into other markets. We're looking at expanding outside of our state, using kind of a really different business model that we're putting together. So who knows? But I can't wait to find out.
Well, here's a question, because you define yourself as a marketing company that just happens to be in the real estate world. I mean, that's what I heard. I don't know if I'm right. Mm-hmm. But talk to us, for our audience, the people who are listening, what are some of the pieces that are really landing with consumers right now? Because curating content and data, that is something that's unusual. I talk to a lot of CEOs in the real estate world. It's part of what we do. Yeah. And that is a unique message. Marketing companies, absolutely, they're talking like that, but not real estate brands. So hit me with some of your best stuff for 2019 and 20.
So we put out we call it the magazine, but really it's our answer to a listing and buyer presentation. We put it out, well, we say seasonally, but really when we start to run out, then we design a new one and then put it. And our agents can, come in and grab stacks of those. And those have been like kind of the centerpiece of our printed collateral. And then
Okay.
everything is really tailored to tailorable to the experience. So for both the agents and their clients. So if they have a luxury listing presentation or they're meeting with a first-time home buyer, that looks really different. So we've created a huge library of materials for them to put together an appropriate presentation. It's not like a 50-page book and you give the same thing to everyone.
Right.
Same thing like with our neighborhood guide. We have, a very strategic kind of strategy around how we're doing that. You don't hand someone a book with like 100 Denver neighborhoods and go like, well, you can't afford most of these. Like only look at pages 3 through 8. Instead they can pull those sheets and like really make the client feel taken care of. And then the other piece of our program, I think, is what we call surprise and delight. So we order fun stuff all the time that the agents can come in and grab: dog bandanas, camping mugs, baby onesies, everything. And
Basically swag.
Exactly. We don't charge for any of that because for us, that gets our brand out on the street. When you see a dog walking around with a Weston Maine bandana, you better bet one of our agents is going to take a picture and post it.
Yeah.
And they're going to tag us. So that has been really well received. And it was just something we built into our model because we didn't want the agents to feel like they had to pay for all of that stuff because that's what they stay excited about. Yes, everyone's excited, when they have a transaction coordinator and their E&O is covered, but it's not sexy, it's not fun, it doesn't differentiate you.
Right.
So when I have agents that come in and they're interviewing at 5 or 8 different companies, like I want to have those things that stand out. And I want them to remember like, oh my gosh, at Weston Maine, you can just go in and grab this stuff and you can reserve any of their offices to host a client party, or you can invite your clients to one of our, 4 annual client appreciation events. And it's like us throwing a party for you. And you just meet your clients there. So all of these different things and how we choose to spend our dollars is just very different than most companies.
Tell me. What do you do that's, I like the real deal. When you talk to people and they're like, oh, we're special. And then they're like, I'm not going to tell you. Tell us what is different about how you guys spend your money.
You will not find a newspaper ad with our stuff on it. But what we do is completely offer free design for all of our agents so that, so our marketing money is basically spent on our design staff. We have very talented designers who are ready, willing, and able to create anything that agents come up with. They also create all of the listing collateral from scratch, in-house, on demand. It's not a template. It's a beautiful flyer designed for your listing. We just don't mess around with a lot of spend on online leads either. We do have a really robust website. It's a lead machine, but it's just it's organic traffic.
A lead machine. I like that.
Yeah, and we distribute those leads to our agents at no extra split. We just ask that they take good care of those folks. Those are people on the other end of that, lead form. And so we give them the tools to nurture them. It's really not that complicated. And it has worked really well.
That's so cool. Stacy, thanks for your time today. What should people know about your brand? And maybe we should real quick, because we didn't do an introduction in the beginning or any of that. So you're in Denver, Weston, Maine. How long have you guys been in business?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And you're that's a lot of growth, by the way. 50 agents a year. That's amazing. Do you think you'll keep that pace?
I hope so. I mean, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I think I will.
Yeah. We'll just go ahead and keep doing that.
Yeah. How would somebody get a hold of you if they're interested in finding out more about what you do?
I'm super easy to find online. I'm at Stacy Staub everywhere. I also run all of our socials. So at Weston Maine Homes on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. But really,
Everything.
just Google me. I'm super easy to find, good or
That's
bad.
cool. That's cool. What when somebody says, and just because you've had a great growth rate and your positioning is different, like a marketing company that sells real estate, what's your like value prop that you talk to agents about? Like, what's your value that you bring? I'm just kind of curious how you position yourself.
Sure. I mean, we're a boutique brand that intends to stay that way no matter how big we get. We always want to have that storefront feel, like a local boutique that you're walking into, whether you're shopping for jeans or need to sell your house. Our goal is to provide our agents with excellent service so they can turn around and do the same for their clients. And I don't like to get sued. So we focus a lot on education. We provide a lot of training and coaching and accountability. And we make sure that our agents meet their goals and hopefully exceed them no matter what those look like for them.
That's awesome. Stacy, thanks for being here with us today. This has been a fun conversation.
Thank you so much.
And that's a wrap. Hey, thanks for your time. This is kind of cool. I'm crazy. I just call people up and say, hey, let's chat. And we haven't met before, but it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you so much. I went back and listened to a couple of your shows so I could kind of like get the vibe. So I like it. I like it.
Because you're a marketing person and you know what you're doing. Is there anything that we can do to serve you? I mean, these are intro calls. We always kind of reach out. It's cool that your husband is involved in that. I hope you guys got lots of money when Remax decided to buy you. I think that's awesome.
It didn't suck.
Yeah. It didn't suck. That's perfect. But is there anything we can do to serve? That would be great.
I mean, this has been great. We love getting the brand out there and being able to tell our story. So I just totally appreciate it. And let us know how we can help you.
Okay, cool. So we'll send this out to everybody. We send a list. So this will go literally to all 1.7 million realtors or however many there is of us out there. And we'll throw this on all the socials and we'll tag you. And this will be fun. I think it's good to just see different models and different things out there. And we have 5,000, we've had 5,000 clients. So as you're building your brokerage and you're like, we need help.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Oh, I'm there.
Have you ever heard about us before?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I had or not, but then since your team reached out for this talk, I have done a little bit of digging. So,
What'd you find out?
I don't know. I think it sounds really cool. And your assistant who was helping us get on the call is lovely, such a sweet girl. So I think it's really cool. My husband does use a lot of virtual help overseas, that kind of thing.
Does he?
Yeah. So especially like developers and, guys that code and all of that.
Yeah, there's we have a couple in Pakistan and then we have a couple in the Philippines. It's weird. There's good talent out there in the world,
Yeah, of course. What a great opportunity for them. So
It is crazy. All right, Stacy, thanks for your time. I'm your guy. You ever need anything in our world, you just let us know. And we'll shoot you a quick message when this goes live. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Nice meeting you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.